and welcome to another edition of Monday Motivation with Bukola. It's a show about inspiration, women empowerment, beauty, money, business, culture, entertainment, and advocacy. And I'm your host today, Bukola Oriola. I have a fabulous guest in the house for you today. She is Shaneequa Cannon. She's a best-selling author. She's a Write Diva. I want to hear about Write Diva. Wow, I've heard about different kinds of divas. This diva is a different kind of diva. She kicks the butt of writers, and she's going to be telling us how she does that and bring the best out of writers today. So, welcome on the show, Shaneequa. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're really grateful that you could make it today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has been an excellent opportunity because I'm all about empowering women and lifting them up and giving them a voice. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And before we go into the question and answer with you, our quote for today is, the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. And this quote is by H. Jackson Brown Jr. And of course, it's from Brainy Quotes. I love Brainy Quotes. So this is Brainy Quotes. If you're looking for inspirational quotes, you can check out Brainy Quotes. They have a lot of inspirational quotes. And I will take the quote again. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. And this quote is by H. Jackson Brown Jr. So your best preparation for tomorrow is to put in your best today. Without putting in your best today, tomorrow might not be so good. So you have to put in your best today. I know that sometimes you can feel tired because you are human. We are all human beings. Sometimes we feel tired. Sometimes we feel, oh, can I push through? Just push through a little bit, because the best you give today is what will produce your best for you tomorrow. So don't give up, keep preparing, and you will enjoy the fruit of your preparation tomorrow. So again, welcome to the show, Shaneequa. Thank you so much. We are really happy to have you here today. And I want to start by asking you, who is Shaneequa?
That's a really good question. So I am the Write Diva. And the reason why I chose that name is because I'm looking to uplift and empower women through writing. I want them all to adjust their crown and get their lives. So that is why I took that name. Now, who am I? I am a person who has been through so much that people ask me, how do I keep moving forward? How do I keep walking forward? And before, my answer used to be, because I have to. But now I realize that it's an amalgamation of a lot of different things that came together, including connecting with other women who are empowered, connecting and networking with other women who are doing more of their lives than what they have been told they can do in that box. So Shaneequa is the person who is lifting the lid and breaking the box open.
Wow. I love that. Lifting the lid and breaking the box open.
Yes.
Can you expatiate on that?
Well, one of the things that I used to fight against in a way with myself is the stereotypes of being a Black person, the stereotypes of being a woman. And a lot of the times, a lot of the things that people tell me I'm supposed to do, it just didn't fit me. I didn't believe that my DNA dictated that I was supposed to go cook a meal, that I was supposed to sit at the back of the bus, that kind of thing. And what I feel like my purpose here on earth to do is to help women get up from those constricting bindings that society has placed on them, and what that means is you have to break the box. You have to get uncomfortable, because sometimes we put ourselves in that box because it is comfortable. Mentally very comfortable. Means you've been called into something else. That means you have got to get uncomfortable, and you've got to get where the magic is. That means break the box, break the mold, and move forward.
Thank you. So you just mentioned the word stereotype. So how can a woman get out of that mindset of being stereotyped as a woman, and because she's a woman, she cannot do X, Y, Z, or because she's of a certain age plus a woman,
Yes,
cannot do X, Y, Z, or because of her color and she's a woman, she cannot do X, Y, Z. So, how can a woman get out of that stereotype and mindset?
Well, the first thing a woman has to do is realize her value. One of the things that I did is I started paying attention to nature. And if you look at nature, the female of any species is the baddest of all the species. She is amazing. Yes, the lion may protect the pride, but homegirl goes out and she gets it. We are providers. We are not supposed to just sit back and be taken care of. We have been put on earth to do some of the hardest things, and that is to bring forth life and to raise life and to create good people and to raise good people. But we go beyond just being mothers. We are mothers of everyone. Our nurturing and our nature is to take care of and prepare everyone for what life has to offer. But here's the thing, that is not restricted to just a kitchen. That is not restricted to just a typewriter in a business. Honey, with thanks to social media, I've had my mind adjusted, and I feel so much better and so much more at home in this earth, because I'm seeing Black women bring home 6-figure incomes, 7-figure incomes. I've seen them live in their truth, and the way that they've been able to do that is by going back and helping people. So when you realize what your value is, when you realize what your purpose is, what your destiny is, why you're put here on earth, then you're going to understand that everybody else's expectations of you, if they don't fit, if they don't match, then that is not where you're supposed to be. You have to step outside and get uncomfortable. And the way that you do that is allow for the growth, and it is to learn, and it's to read, and it is to meet other people who are doing the things that you want to do. As a Black woman, especially living here in America, the last 6 years have been very troubling. As a Black mother, the last 6 years have been very troubling. And it is so easy to get sucked into the negativity that is around us. I'm telling you, it's something that I do fight against quite often. But as Michelle Obama has said, when they go low, you go high. And that I hold very dear. And then I also look to the women who are doing what I want to do. Oprah is one of those main women. She has overcome so much. And she doesn't live in the present. She didn't grow up in the present time that I'm growing up in, where integration was a normal thing, where we're told that we can be whatever we want to be, where it was possible for a Black man to become president and to live in the White House. She didn't grow up in that time, and yet she still prospered and became who she is. So she is a person that I do look up to a lot. But what that requires is knowing who you are, and is knowing your value. And if you have a religion, if you believe in Christianity, if you go to a higher spirit, then you have to understand that your place is a lot higher than just sitting at home doing nothing. I'm 37 years old. I just left Miami. My family lived in a 10-minute radius of everybody. And with my cousin's passing this year, 2016 has been a really hard year for a lot of people. And with my cousin's passing this year, I have determined that I'm not going to live my life in a box. And I have moved to Georgia last month, despite being scared of the South, despite being scared of the climate that we're living in at this certain time, because I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where my God is calling me to be. And so that requires me to get comfortable with my purpose.
Wow.
And to get uncomfortable with where I was, you got to get uncomfortable. T.D. Jakes, he shared a story about a lobster. And he said a lobster will grow until its shell is too tight. And it either can kill itself by staying someplace where it can't grow, or it will break that shell and for a moment be vulnerable to what life has to offer, to what requires him to grow. And that is to be vulnerable. So I had to get really vulnerable. When I wrote my stories, that's what I had to do. I had to stop being silent. I'm a sexual assault survivor, or as Joan, who you've spoken to, said, a thriver. I had to own my story, get comfortable with that enough to tell other people, honey, you don't have to stay there. You are not your past. You are not what happened to you. And you are not how you were raised. You are how you are purposed. So step into it. That's how you break the stereotypes.
You're such a powerful woman. Thank you so much. And even being bold enough to say that out publicly, because I do know that it's not easy for a woman to come out and share that kind of a story publicly. As a survivor myself, I know the kind of challenge you are up against every day. So
Yes.
thank you so much. We are going to continue, but we need to take a break now, and we'll be back in a minute. Hello, I'm inviting you officially to the 2007 Empowerment and Hope Summit. It's coming up on February 4th. It's a Saturday, so save the date, mark your calendars, and make it a point to be there. Why should you be at the Empowerment and Hope Summit? If you have a story that inspires the whole world, if you have a story to tell, you should be at that summit. If you have a passion and you don't know how to turn your passion to work, you need to be at that summit. If you are just starting and you are a business person, great, you need to be at that summit. If you're a woman who have gone through some kind of setbacks, whether it's relationship, whether it's relationship with a friend, with a significant other, with a family member, with an aunt, with an uncle, with a neighbor, and you've gone through some experience that has given you setbacks, perhaps in your career or your business or your life generally, and you are looking for a way to start afresh, come to this summit. It is for you. And you know what? You're going to even get bonus for signing up to this summit, because once you sign up, you're going to have access to a private Facebook group. That group is only for Empowerment and Hope Summit registrants. And you're going to be learning a lot from that group even before the summit. You get the chance to learn from me one-on-one. Yes, to learn from me one-on-one. You learn, I have a story too. And it's a public secret that I'm a survivor of human trafficking and domestic violence here in the United States. Yes. And I've been able to turn my life around, where I've now authored two books on my experience. I have turned my experience into an expertise. Now I'm a subject matter expert. Now I'm being consulted by the federal government, by community members, by state governments, by local governments, by county sheriffs, by community members, by teachers, by even the old people. You know, I'm being consulted because of my personal story. Do you know that you can use your personal story to inspire the whole world? Yes, you can. Join me and several other inspiring speakers at Empowerment and Hope Summit 2007, February 4th. So mark your calendars and register now. Register. Join me on Monday Motivation with Bukola and register. Go to the website of Monday Motivation with Bukola and register. I hope to see you and the private Facebook group, and then at the summit. And guess what? If you attend in person,
you get bag of goodies to go home with. But for those of you online, of course, you enjoy, all the resources that I'm going to be providing online to you. You have two options to register. You can register to be there in person or register to join virtually. And you're still going to get the same benefit, except that those who come live in person, we go home with bag of goodies and get one-on-one hands-on with me. Like, they will be with me personally in their personal space, and the space is limited, so the earlier you keep your seat, the better for you. I only have seat for only a few people to come to the live event, because I want it to be cozy, I want it to be warm, I want to have the attendees enjoy the time with me, and I want to be able to attend to everyone one-on-one. So I hope to see you there. And of course, there is Aneta Worksalis. She's an army veteran and a spiritual coach. She's also going to be there, and she's coming all the way from Chicago. Yeah, she's coming all the way from Chicago to Minneapolis. So make it a date and join us and other speakers at this life-changing event. 2017 is your year. 2017 is my year, so make it your year too. And I believe that it's going to be your year. Come to the summit, and I'll see you soon. All right. Register.
Welcome back again. If you are just joining us for the first time, this is Monday Motivation with Bukola. It's a show about inspiration, women empowerment, beauty, business, money, culture, entertainment, and advocacy. And today I have a fabulous guest in the house for you. She's Shaneequa Cannon, and she's a best-selling author. She's a Write Diva, helping writers to bring out the best in them. And she's been giving us valuable information on the show today and inspiring us with her own personal journey. So Shaneequa, as you were talking earlier on, you talked about the power of the social media, how that has helped you. So what are the advantages of social media to a woman who has a story to tell?
Well, I would tell you, for one, it is to see that there are others who are doing what you want to do. As even Bukola is doing, you see she's utilizing social media to reach back and to fulfill her purpose, which is to empower and uplift. So social media is the best tool that's out there right now, because you no longer have to ask permission to step into everything that it is that you want to do. You can create your own show. You can create your own podcast. You can create your own blog. You can tell your stories. You no longer have to be silent. And what you're going to hear when you do share your stories is that people are going to raise their hand or raise their voice and say, me too. And what you will do by sharing your story is help them share theirs. And it will become a domino effect that is of positivity and of empowerment. As in direct I'm sorry, I'm freezing here, in direct opposite of how keeping silent does for other people. When you're silent, it constricts you. When you're silent, it silences you. It silences your purpose. It buries your gift, and you become either very mediocre and okay with it, or you become somebody who feels like they're yelling in a vacuum. So what you have to do is get out that vacuum, and social media allows you to do that. It allows you to find your voice. It allows you to find your network. It allows you to find your people, and it allows you to walk where you need to be going.
Thanks. You also mentioned books, reading books. So yeah, for a woman who has a story to tell, or a woman who just want to grow out of the box, would you say books is one of the avenues that a woman can do that? And how many books should a woman be reading a day, per week, or per month?
Well, yeah, I would suggest at least do a book a month. That way you can take your time and you can really learn and soak in what it is that is out there for you. You want to learn empowerment. You want to get those kinds of things. Like I'm currently reading right now T.D. Jakes' Instinct, and it is great. It's about listening to the voice, listening to the dream, listening to the call that God has placed over your life. That's my current book right now. And when you have a story to tell, then that platform just grows. Like my official title, yes, I am the Write Diva, but my job title that I created in a moment of talking to God is that I am a book business strategist. So what I help you do is I help you create a business from your book. And obviously, if you don't have a book, then guess what else I help you create? So I help you find your authentic story, find your authentic message, find and use your authentic voice. And from there, we create a platform of speaking, of teaching, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to teach, we're here to reach back, and we're here to help someone else get out of where we've been. So a book is a great place to start because one, it allows you to own your story. If you haven't fully explored it, if you haven't allowed yourself to really look at it in an objective way, this is where you want to start. You want to start with a book. Absolutely.
I found out that you had a decade of experience working with high school kids. So how would you describe that experience?
Yes. Well, see, I'm a person who, like my idol Oprah, I have come to realize that my classroom is not in four walls. The world is my classroom. When I walked into teaching, that was God actually teaching me. I had to learn that people needed my story first and foremost. Like I hadn't written about the rape trauma at all until I saw the stories the kids were listening to or having to read. And what they were saying was, we can't identify. This is not what we're going through right now. And I went, you know what, you're right. But what I know you can identify with, because of the statistic alone of 1 in 4 women experiencing sexual assault by the time that they're 24, I believe the age is. And here I was with junior kids who I know are putting themselves in that possibility just because they're young and they're having fun and they're being innocent. So that's when I began telling my story. And then through social media, I got on Periscope, and one day I was talking to someone. Well, I was talking out in Periscope, but they kept coming back to what my story was. And they wanted to know, how did I move past the rape? How did I graduate college? Did I want to become a teacher? And that's when I realized my message needs to go louder. My message needs to get further. And I finally wrote the book that I started 10 years ago when I was teaching.
Okay.
My message needed, especially by the young folks, because this happened to me when I was 16.
Okay.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry,
you have
did we
to come
freeze?
again. You froze from the book you started 10 years ago.
Okay. And find Periscope, I had to finish that message because I saw it needed to be on a global scale. And with the kids, I learned not only was that message needed, but that I did have what it took to deliver the message. Because if you're a woman, chances are you may have what they call imposter syndrome, where you can be great at anything and tell people, oh no, it's not me, it's the people I work with. Oh, I'm in. We don't congratulate ourselves. We don't celebrate ourselves. We don't acknowledge our gifts. And because of the teaching, I've come to learn that I do have a gift for speaking. I do have a gift for reaching and teaching, and it's needed. So that's what 10 years of teaching has taught me.
Nice. And you also you help young adults pursue their dream.
Yes.
We'll come to that in a minute. We need to take a break now.
Okay.
Thanks. If you are just joining us for the first time, again, this is Monday Motivation with Bukola. It's a show about inspiration, women empowerment, beauty, business, money, culture, entertainment, and advocacy. And today we have a fabulous guest in the house. She's Shaneequa Cannon. She's a best-selling author, and she is the Write Diva. She helps other people write and learn from it and provide value from their own personal stories. And she's been giving us a lot of great value on this episode today. So, Shaneequa, you help young people pursue their dreams, believe in their dreams, and realize that dream. How do you do this?
Well, it started in my classroom. One of the assignments that I created was that they had to do a vision board. And I took some of the learnings that I got from books. One of my favorite books was called Write It Down, Make It Happen. And there was an exercise in there, a 30-30-30 exercise. So you had to write down 30 things that you wanted to do, 30 things that you wanted to have, and 30 things that you wanted to be. And you just had to write them down without thinking about them. And that exercise was great for me. So I had the students do that on their own. Well, it was guided. So we did it in class. They did the 30-30-30. And then I talked to them about vision boards. And I told them that vision boards were more than just about money. It's about where they wanted to go. Because I saw The Secret. A lot of people have seen The Secret with Lisa Nichols and all the other wonderful teachers. And when I realized that speaking out into the universe may be great, but speaking out and writing down and creating a board, that helps your mind go, okay, this is what we want and this is what we're going to do. So with the kids, it started there, and I would tell them, go with the symbol that speaks to you. Just pull it out and don't worry about what it means. And for example, I will pull out, say, an ant. The ant is one of the hardest working creatures on this earth. It may be the tiniest, it may be the most disregarded, but it not only lifts 10 times its weight, yes, that's true. But what I like about an ant, I don't know if you've ever watched them, but if they climb a wall and you blow them down, they will climb that wall again. And if you blow them down, they will climb that wall again. And if you blow them down, they will climb that wall again. And that's life. Life will continue to blow you down because there are circumstances that are going to keep coming. And you have to learn how to get back up and keep going on what it is that you have in mind. And then sometimes an obstacle comes and it stays in front of you. So if you put a leaf in front of an ant, the ant is not going to work really hard to climb over the leaf. The ant is going to find an alternative, another route. And that is how life is too. Sometimes God is not saying, no, you can't have it. God is saying, baby, not that way. You need to find another way. And then the other thing I like about the ant is if you distress an ant, it's going to do something that we as humans have to learn how to do. It's going to call for help. So if you're distressing an ant, you will see 3, 4, 5 other ants come up to that ant to help that ant out. And that's how we have to be as humans. And one of the things that I struggled with as a teenager, I struggled with letting people know that I was distressed. And so once I've added that to my vision board, that became something that I'm able to do. Now I'll tell people real quick, hey, I need your help with this because I don't know. And life is not about sitting in the I don't knows. Life is about trying to figure it out. And if you can't, asking those who can. And it's about helping each other. So I taught the kids that they need to look at life differently. And now I have children, they'll hit me up with a picture of their vision board in the background and say, look, Miss Cannon, look. And this is 10 years later, 8 years later, 9 years later, and they still have their vision board. And one of the other things that I gave them was I would give them a pencil. And this is what the pencil was about. Well, I gave them a pencil and a pen. I gave them the pencil because they need to write down their dreams. You know, they need to write it down to make it happen. But on that pencil, I also put the words, place your bid, place your belief in your dreams, because people are going to come and knock you down because they couldn't, because they didn't, because they wouldn't. And they're going to tell you you shouldn't. But if, again, you have this purpose, if you have something tugging on you, something pulling on you, something that won't let you rest where you are, then you have got to get a dream and you've got to believe in it. And then you've got to write it down and turn it into a goal. Then I also give them a pen, because in life, though we write our dreams, they are not to be erased. And in life, though we make mistakes, they are not to be erased. We can't wipe them out, because even if you can white out something, guess what? It remains. You covered it up, but it still remains. If I wanted to chip away at it, I would still find your mistake. So we've got to learn to embrace mistakes, and we've got to learn to move forward. And that's what I've done with the young people. I've taught them that your mistakes are not all there is to you. You make it, you correct it by moving forward and doing something different. So I've been taking that message out in my book, the Giving Yourself Permission. I talk about rocking out your life. And the R means that you reclaim your life. You don't give your life over to the tragedy or to the abuser or to whatever happened to you. You reclaim your life. This is my life. I have to live it. And then the O is to own your story, which also means own your part in your story. You know, you are a player in it. So own your whole story. Even if it's shameful, you own it and say, okay, this is what I did, but this is not who I am. And then the C is to connect to somebody outside of yourself. So that's like what we're doing here. We're connecting, we're talking. And both of us are survivors. And look at what you're doing. You're connecting and you're reaching out and you're helping to empower. That's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to stay stuck. We're supposed to connect and reach out. And then that K of rocking out your life, your K is about knocking down the negativity, because it will come. And negativity does stick. And negativity does hurt. But you've got to learn how to knock it off, brush off your shoulders, get back up, and keep walking forward. That's what I teach. That's what I teach. And if your story's holding you stuck, we definitely do the digging before you write it.
Wow. You know, you've said so much, and I'm so inspired. So now, to bring you back to the writing world and the Write Diva,
Yeah.
you know, is it only the women population you work with, or you work with men too? Because now the adults, you are helping them to own their story and write it in a book. So do you work with just women to do this, or you work with both men and women?
Well, one of the things that I've learned over my entrepreneurial studies over the past year is that you do find a target audience. You do create who it is that you're speaking to. So I can identify and I can talk to women, especially women who are in their 30s up to like their 50s, where they've given up a dream and they sacrifice their life for other people. So I do talk to those. But I do find when I go out in public, and for some reason, the conversation always turns to writing a book, telling your story, and sharing it. Men want to do it for a different reason than what women do. Women are about really helping, and in a way, helping themselves, like healing through help. And men are more about, here's the mistakes I made, here's what you don't need to do, let me show you how to do it. So they're a little bit more cut and dry than women are. But when they do talk to me, they do find that it goes a little deeper, it goes a little richer. We're not just on the surface. Because your story, you have to be the authentic you, and you have to connect to people and let them know that you haven't always been up here. You haven't always been up here, but you didn't stay here either. And that's what's really important, is that you don't lay down and don't stay down. So that I can work with anybody. But again, for the target that I'm supposed to create in this world, it has been women.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Our time is rounding up here, and this is November. November is the month of Thanksgiving. And also this particular year, November is a critical month in the United States. But I want to focus on the Thanksgiving part because it's also the month of Thanksgiving. So what are you thankful for?
I am really thankful that I didn't give up. I had so many opportunities to do that. I've even tried to commit suicide when I was 16, and God had a different purpose. And I'm glad that even when I was hurt, I got up and I kept moving forward, and I kept my ear, and I kept listening, and I kept being obedient. That's what I'm really thankful for.
Wow, thanks. So, how can people connect with you?
Well, they can find me at www.thewritediva.com, or you can find me the Write Diva anywhere, because I am definitely the right diva to help you write your book.
So you're on all the social media platforms. They can get you on Facebook, on Twitter, on
Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Snapchat, YouTube. I'm everywhere. Yes.
Okay, great. So what is your last word for our viewers today?
My last word for you is listen to your voice. Listen to what's inside of you. Listen to what speaks to you. And realize that you're enough to go after those things. So believe in dreams. Place your bid. And good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're glad to have you today. Again, if you are just joining us at the end now, this is Monday Motivation with Bukola. It's a show about inspiration, women empowerment, business, beauty, money, entertainment, culture, and advocacy. And we had a great guest in the house today. She's Shaneequa Cannon, and she's been talking about writing and helping women find their voice. And not only women, she started with the young kids, young adults, and she gave us a lot of value today. So thank you so much for coming on the show. We're really grateful, and we hope that you'll come back again to the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Thanks. Bye-bye.